human beings, unlike animals, have a hard time making a living. Animals have their food available, they just have to catch it. Human beings have to go to school, and they have to study, and they have to... It's a ganze chochmah to make bread. Pasha begashmi is to make bread. It's a year's process. You have to plant, you have to sow, you have to grind, it takes a year to make a sandwich. Which is very strange. Why should human beings have to be so engaged in eating when animals have such an easier time? You would think fakert. Human beings are supposed to be doing holy things. They shouldn't be And yet the Eibishter created the world in such a way that a human being has to spend most of his day just making a sandwich. Or 2. Or 10 if he has a family. Why should it be that way? So you can say, well, it's all the result of the Eitz Hadas. It's not supposed to be this way. But the Eitz Hadas was also supposed to be. The fact is that this is the way it's been for 5,000 years. So there must be a reason. And the reason has to be good enough and big enough to justify not only doing it, but doing it most of the day, most of your life. That doesn't seem right. So the reason, of course, is that by going to work, by needing to go to work, you come to places you would otherwise not go to, you meet people you would otherwise not meet, and you see things you otherwise wouldn't see. And since our job is to spread godliness all over the world, your job, your work, takes you to those places where you need to plant a little godliness, sow a little godliness so that the place becomes holy, or the people you meet, you have to give them something holy. In other words, it's a shlichus. A person who can really, sincerely, wholeheartedly see his work as a shlichus, his life becomes much more livable. There's a harmony between his Yiddishkeit and his job, and he doesn't find any need to make compromises, to be different when you're at work than when you're in shul. Take on a different personality, put on shtick. There's no need for this. When the Rebbe sent shluchim to Eretz Yisrael, he sent Rabbi Mentlik to accompany them. The entire time, from the minute he left, Rabbi Mentlik, from the minute he left New York to the time he got back to New York, he didn't take off his gartel. Because he was on shlichus. So whatever he did in Eretz Yisrael, whether he was eating, traveling, with a gartel, because he's on a shlichus. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea that when you go to work, you should be wearing a gartel. I'm not suggesting it, just a thought. Because it shouldn't be another life. You can't have another life. So if you're conscious, if you're aware, the reason I'm working, the reason I'm taking a train, the reason I'm driving to Manhattan, the reason I'm taking a plane to California or to Hong Kong or whatever it is, it's a shlichus. Put on your gartel. Because as you go and as you do your business and as you come back, you're gonna accomplish something holy. So why shouldn't you be wearing your gartel? So even if you don't physically wear it, but certainly mentally, you should be wearing a gartel all day. So hen v'lav shovin, if you're focused on the gashmias, then it's a virtue, it's a great maila if you're indifferent to it. You make more money, less money, doesn't bother you. But if you see it as a shlichus, then it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be indifferent. Then it should be as serious and as important and as valid as learning a maimah. Although the Rebbe would go through the list of miftzayim, he would say Neder Shabbos Kodesh and Lahavdil Miftzah Tzedakah. With Lahavdil, because that's money. So you have to put a Lahavdil between Chinuch, Kashrus, Shabbos, and Lahavdil Tzedakah.
The dollar bill was laughing as it flew into the air, and it flew into the street, and some people gathered there. Everyone was jumping up to get it in the hand. Everyone was jumping up in the promised land.